All right, welcome to our new segment, Are You Stupid? The theme song for this segment is the Soviet national anthem, sung by the Labrador, because the Soviet Union no longer exists. Not because of any reason other than fucking stupidity. All right. So here's the segment for Are You Stupid? Why on earth would you run a business and not donate anything you could to get a tax deduction? Why? Are you stupid?
Because they probably don't understand that tax strategies exist in this world, and they're not loopholes. If you know about them, it's not a loophole. It's not some illegal thing. It's a strategy.
So, what is the difference between a loophole and a tax strategy? There is no difference.
No, there is not.
If Warren fucking Buffett can pay an effective tax rate of close to 0%, I think his effective tax rate is around 10%, if I recall correctly. If Jeff Bezos can pay a tax rate of 0%, both for himself and his business, legally, why aren't you?
Because you were not educated in the way of keeping as much money as humanly possible.
Uh-huh. So here's my question. Are the business owners of America the small business owners? So how does the law define a small business, my love?
Anything under $1 million in revenue?
That's one definition, but that is not the legal definition.
Okay, what is it number of employees? Is that the legal definition?
Yes, so the law defines a small business as less than 25 employees, if I recall correctly. It's either 20 or 25. And they define a mid-sized business as around 20 to 200 employees.
Okay.
And they define a large business as over 200 employees. Okay?
Okay.
So, Warren Buffett is the owner of large businesses because almost every single company he owns has more than 200 employees. Right?
Yes.
Now, I ask you, and this is the $1 trillion question. What produces more money, more economic output, and more jobs? Small business or large business?
Small business, because there's, per capita, more of them to go around.
Correct. So, if small business creates more jobs, and more money, and more tax revenue, why the fuck are we giving tax breaks to billionaires?
We shouldn't.
Correct. I would love to pass a law. Ideally a constitutional amendment, but a law would be fine. I would love to pass a law that says that any business with less than 20 employees pays 0% tax.
Let's make it a constitutional amendment.
Darling, do you know that in the Constitution it says that you cannot take someone to court over less than $5?
Well, yeah, that'd be a waste of people's time.
Now, how much was $5 worth in... $5 US dollars? Because the US dollar has not changed in terms of its essential nature. Okay? The US dollar has not changed since the country was founded. Okay? Yep. So 1789 or whatever, I don't remember the exact year, but it was 1780s, I believe, that the Constitution was ratified. Okay? The Constitution, not the Declaration of Independence, because remember we got confused on that before. Okay? So, not the Declaration of Independence. The one in 1776 was the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution was in the 1780s, okay? Now, here's the trillion-dollar question, my love. Here's another trillion-dollar question. What could you buy in, let's say, 1790? What could you buy with $5?
A house?
Pretty much, yeah. You could buy land.
Yeah.
A very small piece of land, sure. But what was the average wage for a worker in 1790?
Like 50 cents an hour or something? But if you equate that for inflation, $5 is more like... I don't have a calculator in front of me, and my protogen over here
does not have internet right now.
Does not have internet right now, so accounting for inflation, I would have to say $5 then would be just tack a couple zeros on, and you're in the rough ballpark of 500,000.
Right. So let me help you with this, okay? So, inflation is a very complex topic, but it is very easy to understand. Okay? So the value of the US dollar has gone down significantly over time. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Back in the day, back in my grandfather's day, you could buy a gallon of gas for 18 cents.
Yep.
Now, because of inflation, a gallon of gas is $5.
Yes.
The amount of human labor to get a gallon of gas out of the ground has gone down significantly. So it takes less labor to produce a product that costs $5 than it did to produce the exact same product that cost 18 cents.
And we can say corporate greed gets in the way.
Correct. Now, here's the next question, my love. Or, sorry, not the next question. Here is the way that I like to estimate inflation for people. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is not exactly accurate. It is not. But it provides a very simple rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, every 100 years that you go back, you multiply by 10. Okay? This is very simple. So, a dollar in 1922 was worth about 10 times more than a dollar today. Okay?
Yep.
A dollar in 1822 was worth about 100 times more than today.
Yes.
A dollar in 1722, which is before the US dollar existed, but similar currencies existed at that point. You know, gold coins, for example. A dollar, quote unquote, in 1722 was worth about 1,000 times more than today. So your estimate is a little bit off, but if you take $5 and you multiply by 1,000, that is $5,000.
Yes.
Okay? Now, that may not be exactly accurate, so let's just underestimate it by a factor of 10, and we'll say $500. Okay? Any economist, any professor, any mathematician, any person who studies statistics would tell you that that is definitely an underestimate.
Agreed.
Okay? It is at least $500 in today's value. Okay? So that means that under constitutional law, not state law, not federal law, constitutional law, it should be legal to steal anything worth less than $500.
Okay.
Adjusted for inflation.
Okay.
Now, that is not how the law is written, but that is how it should be interpreted.
That is how it is interpreted in California.
What? What do you mean?
They just passed a law semi-recently that anything under $1,000 is a misdemeanor instead of a felony.
Good.
Which,
so here's one of the things that I'm going to do when I am the president. Okay?
yeah.
This is going to be one of my first executive orders on day one. Okay? Now what day will I become the president? January 1st, 2029.
Yes.
Okay? So this will be an executive order that I will sign into law, quote unquote. Not technically a law, but whatever. This is an executive order that I will sign on January 1st of 2029. Any financial crime of less than $5,000, if you are in trouble for committing that crime, all you have to do is send me a postcard to the White House. Address is really easy to find. whitehouse.gov. Or, you can just call and we'll tell you over the phone. Any phone. Just call and we'll tell you the address. It's Pennsylvania Avenue if you want to deliver it in person. I will happily give you a full pardon for that crime. Now, yes, it is a crime under the current version of the law.
Correct.
Now, yes, if today, in 2022, if someone went to a bank and stole $4,999, that would be a crime. In 2029, if someone went to a bank and stole $4,999, that would be a crime. But I am letting the American people know that to be completely, 100% absolved of that crime, all you will have to do is send me a postcard. And I will return your postcard with a full presidential pardon. So, America, here's what we're going to do. Every night during my presidential address on the television and the radio, every television station and every radio station, so you won't be able to miss it. From, let's say, something like 7... Oh, watch out, there's a car stopped. From something like 7 to 8 p.m. every night. Prime time television. We will be talking about different businesses that deserve to have $4,999 stolen from them. So, as an example, my love, would you like to tell the American people about the crimes of BlackRock Capital?
Yes!
Go right ahead.
Well, BlackRock Capital is one of the world's largest investment firms. And the CEO of BlackRock Capital went on record and stated, the reason why I'm making it more difficult for youth to get houses is because they believe the youth had it too easy.
Too easy.
Too easy.
How much money does the average CEO make in America?
In a quarter of a mile, turn left.
About, what, 800,000?
That'd be a rough estimate, yes. And just to put that into perspective, the average CEO in America makes around 50 to 200 times as much money as their lowest paid employee.
Yes, they do.
So
Very
next
good.
time you see a stop sign, you're going to make sure you come to a complete stop, my love. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, darling, how much did you make per hour working at the hospital?
About 16.
And they offered you how much of a raise?
They gave me a pay cut.
Oh, hold on, because that's not what they would tell you. They would say, we gave you a 4% raise.
Let me get my calculator out real quick.
Inflation was 8%,
Yes.
which means they gave you a 4% pay cut.
Indeed.
Now, $18 an hour is what they offered you, right?
Yes.
Now, I do not know. I'm sure we could figure it out, but I do not know how much the CEO of the Community Health Network makes. But let's assume that it is roughly the average for a CEO in America. Okay? I do not know that this is the case, but I would be happy to research it and find out. Now, $18 an hour times, I'll let you estimate it, my love. Do you want to estimate with 50, 100, 150, or 200? Times your wage.
Let's just go 100.
100 times. All right. $18 an hour times 100 would be $1,800 an hour, my love.
You're so valuable. You know how replaceable you are, Mr. CEO.
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
Try doing my job. Fuck off.
Yeah, how about we make it a law that every CEO has to work at their lowest paying job for 1 week out of the year? So if you pay your
Turn right.
sanitation workers
Left onto the slip road.
the least amount of money in your company, then you have to, by federal law, work at that job for 1 week out of the year. Or let's say the owner of the Marriott hotel chain now has to work. Oh, and by the way, they can't pay themselves their normal salary. They have to pay themselves the salary that they pay their lowest paid employee.
Slip road.
Darling, how much money do hotel cleaners make?
They are criminally underpaid.
That is incorrect because it is not illegal. Criminally, no. Vastly, yes. Darling, what is the minimum wage for tipped workers in the United States?
$4 an hour.
No, that is incorrect.
Oh, it went up?
No,
It went down?
no. All right, let me look it up because it's been a while since I looked at it, so it could have changed. All right. Federal minimum wage for tipped workers. Well, let's see. Minimum wage for the federal minimum wage for tipped workers is $2.13 an hour.
Oh, wow. Why?
Darling, what type of person would accept a job that pays $90 a week?
Incredibly desperate. Expecting mothers? I never understood the concept myself. That's why I never took a job that relied on tips. Never made any economic sense to me. Ever.
It doesn't make economic sense for anyone, ever. Darling, what is the job in America that has the highest rate of mental illness and suicide? Waitstaff of restaurants.
Yeah, makes sense.
I wonder why someone who makes $90 a week would feel suicidal. This is such a difficult problem to figure out.
Oh, yes.
Oh, let's go back into our segment. It's called Are You Stupid? You ready?
Uh-huh.
All right, music. I like that your immediate reaction to the segment Are You Stupid is Hail to the Chief. Delightful. That was great. I love it. Okay? Mr. Biden, I have a question. Why? Why is it legal on the federal level? Thank God some states are smart enough to raise this rate. But why is it legal to pay people $90 a week for 40 hours a week of labor?
Because they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
How can they pay for boots if they're making $90 a week?
Well, we're gonna bring good green jobs back to America. We're gonna...
Where are those jobs, Mr. Biden?
Well, it's an American dream of mine. I'm gonna save the country with good jobs. Yep, good union jobs.
Mr. Biden, I have a question. How many good jobs have you created in your tenure as president?
I'm gonna make sure that there's internet for everybody.
Hold on, let's not go on to a different topic, because I do want to make sure there's good internet for everybody, but since you haven't done that yet, we're gonna go back. Mr. Biden, how many jobs have you created personally in your tenure as president with legislation that you have passed or with executive orders that you have signed?
I am the President of the United States of America, and I have declared a national emergency in... I have declared a national emergency in Texas because we don't have enough clean, green jobs.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Biden. Much appreciated. So glad that you could join us on the show. Now, I'm going to go into my NPR voice for this one. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Obama. I'm so glad you're here.
Hello, I have a dream, and it is...
Why? Mr. Obama, you sound very similar to Joe Biden. I had no idea you were white.
Well, that's the thing.
Okay. Hold on. All right. Let's try this again. All right. I'm going to be Obama, and you're going to be interviewing me. Okay? Ready? You're going to ask me about my Green Jobs initiative that I promised during my 2008 presidential campaign to create 5 million jobs. All right. Ready?
Yep.
So, actually, this is good preparation. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I want to get a White House press pass for myself and for yourself.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So you will be asking these kinds of questions in the White House quite soon.
Oh, wait.
You ready?
Yes. And they're gonna hate us.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna completely ignore us.
That's fine. I don't care if they don't answer a single question ever. As long as I can get on national TV every day asking these questions. Ready?
Yep.
All right. So you are yourself, as a journalist, an independent journalist, asking questions of Mr. Obama. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. So, my name's Obama. Osama Obama. Obama Osama. Obama.
Hello, Obama. So, I have a question for you.
I have so many answers. Go right ahead.
So, all the money you spent, you said you were going to bring back green jobs. You said you were going to create jobs. You spent billions. You created nothing. You created a debt crisis in this country. Explain yourself.
My name is Barack Obama.
That's not the answer.
Barack Obama.
Explain yourself. You have
I'm a black man, and I'm the president.
That has nothing to do with this conversation now. Stay on task.
That was great. Keep doing that, okay? Well, young man, my name is Barack Hussein Obama.
Good for you. Now answer the damn question.
And I would like to say that my opponents in Congress, the Republican Party,
Has nothing to do with the Republican Party. You had control of the House and the Senate at the time.
we're just gonna breeze past that.
No, we're not. I'm gonna hold you accountable, Obama.
Well, I am so dumb that I have forgotten your question. Please ask the question again.
The question was, all the green jobs, all the money you spent, where did the money A go, B, and where did the money go? And where did these jobs go? Where did you create these jobs? What, Cuba? Pakistan? Answer.
I created many, many jobs
No, you didn't.
in Guantanamo Bay for security officers.
Oh,
I created many jobs
so...
during my invasion of Afghanistan.
Oh, good job. Good job.
I created so many dead soldiers in Afghanistan, and I created $1 trillion of military equipment that I left behind in Afghanistan for terrorists. I'm Obama. I'm so smart.
You're a fucking retard.
That's a bit rude to say to the president, but you're correct.
Oh, the president. I voted against your ass.
That's fair. Well done. That was great. That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay. Darling, I have a question. We're ourselves now. So I am your president, Neil Fox. President of time and space. And hopefully, not even hopefully, definitely the future president of the United States.
Yep.
And you are Sir Labrador.
Yes.
Now, you ready?
Yep.
Now, Sir Labrador, I have a question. Who, I ask you, is asking these questions to our leaders right now?
People in the way back that are getting ignored.
Uh-huh. Now, what if there was a person, such as myself, who was sitting at the front of the White House press room, and every time it was my turn to ask a question, which is about every 10 minutes, every 30 minutes, every hour or so, you get a turn to ask a question.
Yep.
What if there was someone asking these questions to the White House press secretary and to the president every day? I'll give you an example, okay? So you play the part of Dementia Joe. You ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. You do a great Dementia Joe impression. It was great. All right, you ready? Now get into character. Get into character. All right, say something that only Dementia Joe would say.
I mean it. Putin, stop this war. I mean it. We're gonna bring down sanctions on you. I mean it.
Delightful. All right. So here I am, sitting maybe about 20 feet away from you, Mr. President, in my wheelchair,
Yep.
with my stickers all over it, with my microphone with NASA stickers all over it, and with my podcast that goes out to anyone who would like to listen to it every day.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
So that's the scenario, right? Ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Biden, I have the next question for you. Are you ready?
Okay. What you got?
So thank you so much for your time, Mr. Biden. Here's the question. You spent $2 trillion of U.S. currency on fighting COVID. What did that accomplish? And explain in detail. Don't give general answers, Mr. Biden. Explain it in detail.
Well, we did what we had to do for the American populace. We helped millions of them.
Hold on 1 second. You're going to take exit 253.
Yes.
Which is just coming up here on the right, okay?
Yep.
See that here?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. Biden.
We, as the American populace, banded together to fight this horrible virus. I made sure that we had enough hand sanitizer and ventilators for everyone.
Okay, so those are noble goals.
Yep.
But I have some numbers here that you might want to hear, Mr. Biden. Some statistics. I know how much you love statistics.
Well, as the president, I made sure myself that we had the ability to fight this horrible disease and save millions of people. Myself. Oh, and I inherited this disease from my predecessor. He did nothing. I had to come in and save the world as a nation.
Okay, so here's my question, Mr. Biden. You mentioned hand sanitizer
Yep.
and ventilators.
Yes.
Both very important for fighting COVID. No question about
Agreed.
that. We are, you and I are in total agreement about that. Now, I have a question. There was a program put in place by your predecessor. I like to call him Dumb Old Donald.
Yep. He's super stupid.
That's
For
true.
sure.
That's true. We definitely agree on that. Now, I like to call him Dumb Donald, and Dumb Donald put in place a program called Operation Warp Speed.
Take the exit on the right.
Operation Warp Speed. Nope. I made sure that the COVID vaccine made it out to millions of Americans. Myself.
So
Quarter of a mile.
did Operation Warp Speed help with that effort?
Operation Warp Speed was a hoax.
A hoax.
It did not happen.
Okay.
I made sure that millions of Americans got saved.
All right. So we're gonna step back from the stupidity cliff. You know how often I've mentioned the stupidity cliff to you, Mr. Biden. So we're gonna just take a few steps back from this cliff, okay? And we're gonna talk about some numbers versus rhetoric, okay? So here's some numbers, okay? So Operation Warp Speed, a Republican initiative, directed many different factories and many different companies in the United States, especially military contractors, directed these companies to cease their normal operations and to create things like ventilators and hand sanitizer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, considering that we've talked about this exact same topic 10 times, or no, 11 times, Mr. Biden, I'm surprised you don't remember. So let me continue, if I may. So the United States federal government directed these companies to create things like hand sanitizer and ventilators. And now, that cost, I haven't looked up the exact figures in a while, but last I checked, that cost less than 1% of $2 trillion. So, where did the other 99% of the money go, Mr. Biden?
The other 99% of the money went to schools, teachers,
Sure.
healthcare workers,
Uh-huh.
making sure that we have good paying green jobs. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that. My bad.
A quarter of a mile.
So, Mr. Biden, I have a question. We've talked about this a couple of times before, but you've never given me a good answer on this one. Why did the United States federal government allow hospitals in my home city of Indianapolis
Turn left.
to cut the pay of essential healthcare workers in fall of 2020. You have 5 minutes to respond.
We did not. Those were independent decisions made by the health department.
Now, you could have signed an executive order at any time. You could have signed an executive order at any time that froze the pay of executive healthcare workers, or for example, of essential workers. You could have said the minimum pay for essential workers during the pandemic is $40 an hour. All right, and we're going to pause for a moment.
We need gas.
Uh-huh. I'd like to speak with the manager about the fact that this door is breaking federal law. Thank you so much.
Breaking federal law.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not.
That is incorrect, my friend.
That is very incorrect. Would you like me to explain?
No, let me explain, my love. It's much more fun and professional when Winter explains it. Now, alright. Now we're gonna need a spoon, my love. Right there in front of you, my dear. That's a fork.
Only forks.
That's fine. We have spoons in the car. I just need something to stir it with, okay? Now, darling, this microwave does not have a turntable. So that means that it could very easily melt because it will not be spinning and distributing the heat evenly, okay?
Exactly. This is why I'm using styrofoam. But we have no choice.
Darling, this is not a complicated problem. Would you
No.
like me to tell you how to solve it?
Yes.
Okay. So here's how you do it. You warm it up 20 seconds at a time. You warm it up, you stir, you check the temperature, and then you do it another 20 seconds.
Okay.
Darling, I know that following a sequence of 10 steps to warm up a pan of soup is something that is horrible in your mind. But this is the way to do it without melting the cup and getting the soup all over the microwave, okay?
Or poisoning yourself in the process.
Correct. All right.
It's not that I don't know how to, it's my least favorite way.
I know that, my love. All right. Now I'm going to need some chips or some crackers to go with it. Let's
We have
see.
chips in the car.
Oh, yes, we do. That's right. I'll have the Doritos with it, okay?
Yeah.
Do you remember that I asked you to get some milk for me, my love?
What's that?
Do you remember that I asked you to get some milk for me, my love? Now, I'm going to tell them that I have a different car with hand controls, okay? You and I both know that's not true. They have no idea.
Okay. You need cash for that?
Whenever you are ready, I need you to come up to the front and pay for this, okay? Just stay careful, alright? Anything else you need, just pick it up, alright?
These say protect me best.
Yes.
Do you want the reds?
Yes.
Okay, you said 3 of them?
Yes.
It is going to be $73.25. You got 100s, right?
Yes.
Do you need a receipt? Do you want a bag?
How much is that, please?
It was $73.25. You gave me.
Yeah, I got the one back. I'm trying to think right.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick,
You too, hon.
Darling, I think I left my pen in the car. I'm going to ask her for one. But if she doesn't have one, would you be able to grab one for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
That's great. What is the closest major city to here?
Closest major city?
Let's say over 100,000.
That I'm not for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Greenup's this way.
let me get out of your way,
Portsmouth
friend.
Is that way?
I don't know whether to hold all that or not.
What pump are you on, honey?
7.
7? Alright. You were all set. You have a good one, honey. See, as far as major cities, I'm not 100% sure on that.
But Portsmouth would be fine. Okay,
See, if that'd be the only one I can think of that way.
that's fine. So the assistant manager, what's his name?
Zach.
Zach? I just got to write down some information. You got a pen I could borrow? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can I help you, honey?
Give me 2 cans of the Copenhagen Wintergreen.
Where did your friend go?
What?
The one guy that was with you, where did he go? Did you go to the bathroom?
He's right there.
No, he's not.
Okay,
What was Copenhagen? Did you want?
last I saw him, he was right there.
If you'll give me 1 sec, I need to go locate that gentleman that's walking out the door. Yours was gonna be 791.
Right.
Do you need a receipt?
Oh, there you are. She was just asking where you were.
In the restroom.
Okay.
What is it?
He has questions, and if you
Well,
have
the
questions, you can
report
ask
about the
him.
door,
Mhm.
I just made my management, so.
Great. Your manager's name is Jason, correct?
Yeah,
Would I be able to get a number to contact him?
I can't get that number out, buddy.
Why not?
Just not allowed.
Okay. So I'm going to file a federal ADA complaint
Okay.
because it would be impossible for me with my car that has hand controls that I can drive by myself. It would be impossible for me to enter your store.
Other people open the door for me like this, look. If you need help.
The loyalty thing is active.
Sir, it would not be
close the
safe.
door,
Dar,
Up today.
sir, your name is Zach, correct?
Yes.
All right, Zach. So, if I was driving by myself, it would not be safe for me to ask someone who is not trained to lift me up that step. I could not enter your store.
Okay, that's why you had help, right? Did you have help to get into the store?
Sir, I said if I was driving my car
What
by
was
myself.
You driving by
You're
yourself?
welcome,
That's
honey.
my question. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I made the report like you asked me. I
Mhm.
did that.
Okay, and
So
I would
it's
like to make
going up.
I would like to make my own report.
I can't give my manager's number out.
Why
I'm
not?
allowed.
Why
I'm
not?
allowed. It's against the law.
That is incorrect, my friend.
You got change, right?
It's a corporate chain, isn't it?
Give me 91 cents. It's gonna be your change. 91 cents. Go out from there. Do you want to receive?
I made the report like you asked me
Okay. Do you have a business card for this location?
to. No, we do not.
All right. So your name is Clark's Pump and Shop, right? Clark's,
I made the report.
CLARKS,
I made a report.
Pump.
Pretty soon I can ask you to leave.
You certainly can.
Yes, I can.
If
I
you
can
would like-
call the
if-
police if you'd like me to.
You are more than welcome to, my friend,
Okay.
and they can explain to you how illegal this is.
We've had plenty of people come here in wheelchairs before that have disabilities and have not complained about that door, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm starting to get irritated.
Why
I
are you
done
getting
made the
irritated, my
report.
friend?
I done made the report for you. Okay.
Okay.
Like you asked me to.
Okay. Would your manager like for me to file a federal ADA complaint with the Secretary of State? All right, that ready to go?
It is.
All right. Anything else we need?
Nope.
Okay. Did you pay for the milk, my love?
Oh, no.
Go ahead and do that, and we're going to head out, okay?
Oh, no, that's right. Which one are you needing? And I think I have to find the receipt into get that one done on it so I can go back out and refund it. Did you want that one refunded for you? If you would like to, I can have my assistant come in and refund it. We were literally just in here.
Okay. What I need you to do is purchase the milk and this newspaper, my love. Thank you.
Let me set this off to the side and then I'll ring this up for you. Or let me take care of them real quick and then I'll get yours and I'll have them come in.
Here's the newspaper.
And a newspaper.
That's all we need.
It was gonna be 527.
Could I borrow a piece of paper real quick? Gonna just write my website down for your manager, okay?
Okay.
3, 34.
No, let me write it down in capital letters so it's easy to read. FURRYPRESIDENT.com. Okay? So I'm an independent journalist. My podcast has 500,000 followers, and I'd be more than happy to talk to Jason whenever he's available.
All right, I will let him know.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much, Jessica. We are going to head out.
Go.
All right, go ahead and grab our bag. She's got my website. She's going to give that to Jason whenever he comes in. Oh, and give her back her pen.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you so much, Jessica. We greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a good one.
You too. All right, so what you're going to do is set that stuff down.
Yep.
And we're going to go down backwards, okay?
Okay.
Since Zach has so kindly asked us to leave and called the police, we're going to be out of his hair in just a couple minutes. I have 500,000 followers on my podcast, Zach.
I'm glad you did. I have none.
You excited to have 500,000 people hear how you're breaking federal law?
I'm so excited to hear it. I'll be waiting.
Yep, I gave him a website. You can listen to it there, my friend. Thank you so much. It's up the code! No, it's not, you idiot.
Nope.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's up the code! No, it's not.
You do know this is a corporate chain, right?
Uh-huh. How much would do you know what BP is?
I do.
British Petroleum. A British company under British law, which is much more stringent about accessibility than American law. I think that British Petroleum might like to know they're breaking federal law. Welcome to Tuesday, my love.
It's an Eternal Tuesday.
Uh-huh. All right. So, real quick before we go,
Yep.
I'm just going to take a quick video with this computer, or this Protogen here. And we're going to make sure that we have the details of the business so that we can report it to their corporate overlords in the UK. All right.
Got some toothpaste here?
Darling, I'm about to record. I need you to not make loud noises for the next 30 seconds, please. All right, here we go. Okay. So we're at Lloyd BP. Okay. Here's the location, and I'm gonna put the address on my website. Okay. This is a BP gas station in Kentucky. I assume a franchise, but it doesn't matter because they still answer to British Petroleum. British Petroleum, one of the largest companies in the world.
Yes.
One of the most profitable companies in the world. Okay? Now, this lovely establishment that just asked us to leave and called the police for me reporting them under federal ADA guidelines. Here is their front door. Okay? You'll notice that there's a step there. Okay? Now there is a ramp way over here. But you'll notice that that door opens outward. Which means that, let's say that we can go ahead and go, my love. In fact, we should, because we don't want to be here when the police get here.
I'd just rather not deal with them.
Me too. Let's go. All right, so...
For the time this week.
Uh-huh.
It's very...
How do you like being married to a journalist, my love? Now, here's the details of this, okay? So...
which way?
Doesn't matter, my love. Just drive. Okay?
Okay.
Compass. Drive southwest, my love.
Okay.
This is not complicated.
No.
Okay?
Northeast.
All right. So here.
Southwest must be that
Turn
way.
right. Then turn right.
Okay. So, British Petroleum is one of the biggest companies in the world. And here in this location in Kentucky, here's a newspaper from today to show what day it is. Okay. Here's a local newspaper.
Turn right.
It is July 10th, 2022. Okay.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left.
All right. Now I'm going to hold this up here so that you can see the directions, okay?
Okay.
So You can see the directions. They're at the top right of the screen. But I need to keep recording, my love. It is important.
Okay.
You're going to turn left in 2 miles.
Okay.
All right.
It's
Now,
a very nice road. In the middle of nowhere.
certainly is. All right. So, this gas station, which is either owned or franchised by British Petroleum, is currently breaking federal law. Now, would you like to explain why they are breaking federal law, my love?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
The door is not ADA accessible for wheelchairs. For it to be ADA accessible, it needs to be swinging the opposite direction of what it is.
And also, they should have a more easily accessible ramp.
Yes.
So it is impossible for me to enter that establishment safely in my wheelchair if I was by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how fortunate that I have my wonderful partner. How fortunate that I have my wonderful partner to help me.
Yes.
And, darling, the manager there, the assistant manager named Zach, he said that because you were there to help me, that means they're not breaking federal law. Is that correct?
That is bullshit.
Uh-huh.
That is incorrect and bullshit.
So a person under the ADA must be able to enter an establishment by themselves without help. Let's stop here at this restaurant, my love.
No. Right now it says puppy pizza.
It says Poppy Pizza, my love. Poppy.
I read it as puppy pizza.
Okay. So, a person under the ADA must be able to enter an establishment serving the public without assistance.
Yes,
That
the law.
is the law.
That is the law.
Zach, I know you'll be watching this later, so, if you and your manager, Jason, would like to contact me and talk about it, I'd be more than happy to have you on my podcast. But, it would be...
Turn left.
It would be impossible for me to enter that establishment safely by myself. Impossible. Not just difficult, not just dangerous, impossible. So, I will be filing a federal ADA
Turn
request.
left.
A federal ADA complaint about this establishment, and I look forward to British Petroleum's response. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
I'll sue ya. I'll sue you. I'll take all your money. I'll sue ya, even if you look at me funny.
Oh, you'll sue me for you breaking the law?
No.
Go right ahead.
No, that's what we'll do. We'll sue them. We'll take all their money.
No.
We'll sue them, even if they look at me funny.
We won't sue them, my love. We don't have to sue them when the Department of Justice is on our side. Darling, I have a question.
I'm quoting a song. A Weird Al song.
Darling, I have a question for you. Is there a power on Earth, a legal power, not including the Supreme Court, because they are not employing lawyers, they're a court, okay? Is there a legal power, a law firm, let's say? Is there a law firm with more power than the U.S. Justice Department?
Yeah, probably.
The answer is no, my love.
Okay.
Darling, what is the federal budget?
A near infinite amount.
Uh-huh. Who pays the budget for U.S. Justice Department investigations? The federal budget, my love.
The federal government.
Uh-huh. So the federal government's budget is over $4 trillion a year. $4 trillion. Now let's assume, for the sake of argument, that I was able to convince the Justice Department to file a lawsuit against British Petroleum for operating a business in the United States that is not ADA accessible. Let's just assume that I could do that. How much money could they use to fight British Petroleum?
Well, you take the net worth of a nation, and then you take it by individual circumstances, and then you launch a huge, and then we pull together enough evidence that these crimes are being committed, and then somewhere between fuck you and get wrecked.
Now, I have a question, my love. Is there anything in this world, anything, that the U.S. Justice Department would love more than taking money from one of the largest and most profitable companies in the UK?
Is the sky blue?
So here's...
Does the Pope protect rapists?
He certainly does. Now, so here's what we're going to do, my love.
Yeah.
I am going to contact the U.S. Justice Department, and I am going to report the crime that British Petroleum is committing in Kentucky as of today.
Okay.
Now, what the U.S. Justice Department chooses to do with that information is up to them. I can't make them do an investigation. I can only report it as a journalist.
Yes.
As a disabled journalist who runs an ADA consulting firm. It is my duty. Not only is it my duty, it is my honor to protect the disabled citizens of these United States from the injustice of non-accessible restrooms. Darling, what if I had needed to poop very badly and I was traveling by myself?
You'd be kind of screwed.
I would have to poop on their driveway. I would have no other choice. And they would have to clean up my filthy shit from their driveway. Because I would have no other choice but to do so. Do you think that Zach would like to clean up my shit?
No.
Do you think that his manager, Jason, would like to clean up my shit?
No.
How fortunate for both of them that I was not having explosive diarrhea. How fortunate for them. Now, if I was having explosive diarrhea, then I would have recorded that process. And I would have posted that to YouTube. Because how embarrassing would it be for British Petroleum, one of the largest companies in the world, for them to have a non-ADA accessible, a non-disability accessible restroom in one of their businesses?
Exactly. It would be unbelievably embarrassing for the British.
Darling, what do the British hate more than, anti-colonialism? And I'll answer my own question. They hate impoliteness. I have a question for the CEO of British Petroleum, who I hope will listen to this podcast, because I'll be sending it directly to him. Mr. CEO, I have a question. Just a very simple question. Would it be just or fair for you to expect a disabled person to not be able to use a restroom in your public establishment? Now, and I have another question, Mr. CEO. Would it be legal for you to run a business that does not have an ADA accessible restroom?
The hell is this?
That would appear to be a war memorial, my love. why don't we take a look?
We are going to stop and we are going to take a look.
All right, so this has been a very interesting 30 minutes. Very interesting. Now, I'm going to post this in full on the podcast. I'm not going to redact any portion of it. Now, I might redact it for YouTube just for the sake of brevity, but for the podcast, I am not going to redact anything. So, Jason and Zach and the lovely, lovely people from British Petroleum, I hope that you will listen to this in full and consider how many laws you are breaking right now. Thank you so much for listening, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you'll give this a like. Thank you so much. Hello, future scientists. It is I, your time-traveling Time Lord, Neil Fox. And here I am sitting with James, who is a wonderful American hero. James, tell us about your experience in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Well, I was a V-22 Osprey mechanic.
Okay.
First, I did 3 months of boot camp, and then I had about 6 months of schooling for the Osprey mechanic.
Sure.
To be a hydraulics specialist, and
Okay.
I was the youngest in my unit.
Wow.
To be fully qualified on my aircraft.
Okay.
And I started cross-training into being an AO,
Okay. What's an AO?
Air Operations Chief.
Got it.
So I was flying a lot. I was on the back telling the pilots when they can land and where they can land, and just watching out for rotor dust and stuff like that.
That's great. So what we like to do on this podcast, this is a podcast specifically for kids. So, for example, your son here is a person who might enjoy listening to our children's version of the podcast. Now, we have an adult version and a kid's version. The adult version is one where you can say whatever you want. We're not on that one right now. We're on the kids' version. So you can say anything you like as long as it's not profane, okay?
Okay.
Now, hello, my friend. How are you?
Good.
Good. All right. So, here's a question that many, many of our listeners have asked. And I'm so glad to get to ask it to you. What does it take to be a successful soldier? So when I say successful, I don't mean successful in a monetary sense. I mean successful like finishing boot camp and going through your Army career with honor. How would you do that?
I just do the best that I can. Once you get through boot camp, I mean, most people can make it through. But, I mean, it's all integrity at that point. So, I mean, your gunnery sergeant or staff sergeant or somebody tells you what to do, I mean, you need to do it without question.
Of course.
And that's how you get to be successful in the military.
Okay. Now, your son here...
Grandson.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Grandson. Your grandson said that he is interested in being a soldier. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So I want you to imagine that you're talking just to him. Now, you're also talking to our audience, but just talking to him, okay? What is your best piece of advice that you learned while you were in the military that you would tell him?
Keep your head up. Don't let nobody drag you down.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that try.
Yeah.
But be strong and stay mentally stable.
Sure.
I would just be having a bazooka.
Well, I wouldn't recommend using a bazooka while you're in Army training unless your sergeant tells you, okay?
Yes, I wouldn't recommend it either.
The actual army in the middle of the one, just gonna pull them up.
Okay, well, you know what? I bet you and your grandpa have a lot to talk about later, because that's not a good idea. But anyway, you love bazookas? Well, you know what? Bazookas are pretty fun, especially in video games, right? All right.
I play Call of Duty Cold War.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I like using bazookas because I can kill like multiple teams. Because like whenever there's like a squad just chasing me, I just pull them up bazooka.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to interview your grandpa, okay? I'm going to need you to let me do that, all right? Thank you so much, my friend.
Go over there with Grandma, Bubba. Thank you.
All right. So we've done about 4 minutes. We've got about 6 minutes left, all right?
Okay.
So, one of the things that's most important to me as a journalist is I want to make sure that disability access is accessible for everyone. But, in particular, for veterans. Because there are a lot of veterans in wheelchairs.
Well, so the thing about veterans, yeah, I feel sorry for the way we, like, get hurt and stuff like that. But first off, we signed up for it.
Of course.
Second of all, there's so many programs out there for us. I'm a wounded warrior myself.
Okay.
I mean, I got a great job. I weld. My job is, I mean, they pull money off the Marine Corps or the military in general still because I'm physically disabled.
Sure.
There are a lot of things out there for us, and
That's
my
great.
job has to deal with my physical, what's it called? Disability. And they have to compromise with it, and the Marine Corps, they pay back anything up to $100,000 a year.
Wow, that's great.
For anything that they have to do special for me.
I didn't know they did that. That's awesome. Well, and here's something important that I want the listeners to understand, is that you said that you did not deploy to a war zone, correct?
Right.
But even though you did not, you still came back from the Army, or from the Marines, I'm sorry. You came back from the Marine Corps with a disability that needs assistance, right?
Yep.
And that doesn't make you any less of an honorable person. In fact, it makes you a more honorable person.
When we did deploy, we deployed to Spain, Africa, Romania, and Greece. And while we was in Spain, we was there for the embassy to stand guard to make sure nothing happened to the American embassy in Africa.
Wow, that's great.
And then Romania, we taught the Romanians how to fly jets and how to fly the Ospreys.
Okay.
I was there working on their equipment.
Interesting. Okay. So, when I say disability access, like I said, I don't just mean for veterans, but for veterans it's particularly important because, like you said, veterans chose that. I did not choose to be disabled.
Right.
I was in an auto vehicle accident in 2020. Before that, I was able to walk with a walker, but I was not able to walk without any assistance. Need something, buddy? Okay. So, unfortunately, after that auto vehicle accident, now I have to use a wheelchair. And so, for me, I like to make sure that everyone knows how important it is to provide access to everyone. And not just veterans, but to everyone. Because I assume you probably, considering the fact that you are a wounded warrior, I would assume you know about a law called the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Mm-hmm. So,
did you know that just about a mile or two down the street, there's a BP gas station? I assume you've seen it. Mm-hmm. So, I attempted to enter that gas station earlier today, and I was unable to because they are not following the ADA.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. I do know it's law that's supposed to. There's supposed to be a wheelchair ramp, and there's supposed to be handicap parking, and...
Sure. And so, here's my question to you. We've got about 2 minutes left. We're almost done, okay? Here's my question to you. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that one of your buddies came back from the war and was in a powered wheelchair, okay? Let's assume that just for the sake of argument, okay? If your buddy came up to that gas station, it would be impossible for him to enter that gas station.
I've been there. They would lose the business. They'd lose the business of my buddy and of me. Right. Especially if they wasn't willing to help get him in there,
well,
and then get him out.
And the thing is that it would not be safe for them to lift a powered wheelchair up that step. So the step is like about 6 inches or so. And so even if they were willing and able, if they had 5 guys there willing to lift up the wheelchair, it would still not be safe to do so. Some of those wheelchairs are like 500 pounds.
Fair.
So here's what I want to ask you to finish out our interview, okay? I'm going to file an Americans with Disabilities Act request to the Justice Department to let them know that this place of business, which is a public place of business, I'm going to let them know that it is not ADA accessible, okay?
All right.
So here's what I want to ask you to finish out our interview, okay? If you were going to say something to the attorney from the Justice Department that's going to look into this case, as a wounded warrior, what would you like to say?
Well, I'd tell the attorney to be just and fair.
To apply the law the same as they would to anyone else, right?
Right.
Everyone is equal under the law.
I
Whether you're
agree
a
with
wounded
that.
warrior, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you have the ability to run a marathon, doesn't matter.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You got ability to run a marathon with the wheelchair, actually. They've got things out there for that.
That's true.
And, I mean, it's about time that everybody else gets on the same page and makes it accessible for handicapped people.
Absolutely.
No matter what the handicap is, they need to have a way for people to go shopping.
Absolutely. Well, and not just shopping. I mean, shopping is fun. But you know what's even more important is using the restroom.
Yeah.
If a person, let's assume for the sake of argument, a paraplegic, if that person came there to that store and needed to use the restroom, they would be unable to.
Yeah.
That would be very unfortunate. So, James, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being part of the video.
Thank you.
And we're going to make sure to write down our address for you so you can take a listen to our podcast and take a look at the video on our YouTube channel, okay?
All right.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you
greatly
very much.
appreciate it, friend.
You guys have a good...
Daddy. How are you?
So it'll ask you to say yes, then it'll ask you to slide the card in and leave it there. And let me, I'll walk you through on this computer, open it up, and then just Google hop on, hop off downtown Nashville. We're gonna get her the info. It's way cheaper to book through than directly through the company, usually.
Well, I was wanting to tell my son, because he just runs the swimming pool, so.
Yeah, but not to now you make things so it was an audio adjustment. It's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, it's this one. That's
So if this one is showing the lowest price is 46 per person, 46, sometimes I think it's 46 total. And that's the whole day, all the stops and days you want.
You know, when you're about $40.
Well, you can, yeah, you can choose, you can even, let's say you went to the parking lot and then you wanted to go across town and have lunch, but then you want to go back to the parking lot, you can get back on and off as many times as you want. No, I'm working on that one. No, I'm trying to get that one. It's a security thing. It's okay, I heard that.
I'm sorry.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Good.
How can I help you?
I just need a one bed.
Awesome, give us just a minute. And we'll see what we've got. We've got a lot of reservations coming through.
All right, let's go.
Oh,
I'm
you're
just trying to
fine.
ask some questions.
Will you, what am I saying? Get the name of it for me, and write it down, and I'll give that to her. Nashville, hop on, hop off, college word. We'll just write it down, and I'll give that over to her. She's gonna get that info for you
Okay,
right now.
thank you.
You're welcome. She's all set, right? And then, yeah, you are good to go. And don't forget breakfast.
I wrote it on here.
Perfect.
6:30 to 9:30.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a full hot breakfast now, not just continental, so eat up and enjoy.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Sure. Okay, so I'm checking on rooms for you. seeing that the Fiddler's does, so let me check.
Okay. I believe I have a reservation for meal.
Oh, you already have a reservation.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, welcome home.
Well, where's the one?
That's so different.
Thank you so much.
It is.
I was like, oh no, we have to leave them in. But if you're in one, then you're just gonna live there. What's up, Scream? Hey, you're trapped.
Well, I mean, I am a large shareholder, so.
So that means it's home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a large shareholder.
That's perfect. One of the best things about it is that I really do like when I say welcome home. 'Cause, I mean, you see, we're all
Mm-hmm.
home people. What's the last name? I'm not
Waycaster.
okay, I'm not seeing one for our location.
Or Jeffrey, perhaps?
Do you have the confirmation, and I'll look it up that way?
I know, my partner does.
Okay, yeah. If you don't mind grabbing that, then we can see if we can.
But do you have any rooms available anyway?
Let's see.
Regardless?
Let's find out. How many adults?
Just myself and my partner. Preferably an accessible room. Wheelchair accessible.
Okay, so we have 3, but let me see if any of them are actually available tonight.
Okay. If not, no big deal.
Okay, so we all, oh, I'm sorry, do you see, okay, just so you guys know, there, you can see the H? Yep, so that means both of them are, or not both, all of them, that shows availability, you see the availability, there's the zeros there, but let's call Fiddlers and ask if they have any, we're gonna call it a hotel down the street for you first. See if
Okay.
they have any. You don't mind? Thank you so much. We'll check, if they have any, and if they don't, keep on to a friend.
Okay, cool.
Right? That was so quick too. Nice. We're gonna work nights forever together. Just kidding, honestly. And what is your name, darling?
Place it.
Lacey?
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm just trying to call for you. Just give me a minute.
If they'll, yeah.
You're gonna have to write it down for me. I'm dyslexic, so.
That's okay. We got you covered.
Awesome.
So I'll even. I'll put the phone number on there too, just in case. Okay, so if this is the quality end,
Yep.
right? I'll put you here. You're gonna come out of our parking lot there,
Yep.
and we're gonna go down the street. We're gonna actually go ahead and turn to the right. I say we. You will turn to the right, and then you're gonna keep driving before you hit the stoplight. So if you get to the stoplight, you've gone a little too far.
Okay.
And the Fiddler's Inn is also going to be on the same side as we are.
Oh, so it's just down the road.
Just down the road. But if you get to the stoplight, it's too far, but if you see the Cracker Barrel, you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Okay, cool.
So even if we can't get through to them, that's why I wanted to give you the directions just in case.
Okay.
Because they're probably as busy as we are, but.
You guys are both. So what you're saying is we're about. You guys are booked here.
So, what goes into your
Are you guys booked here?
We're to your choice. They are actually independently owned, but by the same owner that owns this ranch or this ranch. Nick,
Ah. Okay.
Do you have any available?
for how many nights?
Just one. Just stopping by.
Just one night?
Yeah.
Oh. Then check in for you, okay?
Okay. Yeah, what is the rate?
116.60. Okay, I'm sending over our agenda.
There
Okay.
you are.
Got it.
Have a good one.
Hello. I'm Ira Glass. This is NPR. You're listening to This Presidential Life with Link Labrador and Neil Fox. Hello, Link Labrador. How are you today?
Hello, audience.
So, I'm going to back out of the Ira Glass character for now.
That's
So, we were just talking about the Postal Service. We were talking about measuring good in terms of how to measure how much good that a specific donation can do. And a lot of other really interesting topics that we can cover in this and future episodes. So, you had a question for me? Go ahead.
Well, it was less of a question and more of a observation.
Okay.
Audience, you may not know, I worked for Goodwill once upon a time. And let me go into a little bit of a spiel of why Goodwill is a very, very terrible company to work for.
Here, 1 second. So, while you're talking, we're going to use this as a microphone, okay? Because you're talking a little bit quietly and there's a lot of noise in the car. So, we're just going to use the pop socket, okay? You're just going to hold it up to your mouth like this, okay? Then that way you can speak at the same volume that you were speaking,
Yes.
and they'll be able to hear you.
Like I was saying, audience, I worked at Goodwill for several years. And one of their mission statements was economic sustainability for 10,000 people.
10,000 people per store?
Just 10,000 people.
Okay.
Yes, economic stability for 10,000 people.
For a $6 billion company? Or $6 billion charity?
Let me break down how Goodwill functions, because
yes, please do.
and there's a few more moving parts to Goodwill than most people realize. Goodwill, the brand, is $1 billion thing.
Okay.
Goodwill, the branches,
Right.
I worked for the Northern New England branch, which covered Northern New England, so that was Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire,
Yep.
Massachusetts, New York,
Makes sense.
and I believe it also covered Jersey. I don't remember. Not important.
Right.
So,
Everybody knows what New England is. We got you.
So, their plan was economic sustainability. Sitting here laughing my ass off, making $12 an hour when I started, and then $12 an hour when I left, and blatantly telling them, hey, where the fuck are the raises?
Yep.
They're like, oh, it's a hard time. We've had hard times. No, we haven't. Oh, our profit's gone down.
Really?
Yeah.
As you sit there selling $10,000 watches that you got for free?
Oh, yeah. We sold $10,000 watches. The first year I worked there, we made $3 million in a single department. $3 million for a singular department.
Well, darling, considering that they pay their CEOs $800,000 a year, that would pay for less than 4 CEOs. That's only what, about 3.5 jobs? $3 million.
I know.
That's only 3.5 people's jobs.
I know. Or you could, pay your employees $100,000 a year because they're working with gold, silver, diamonds, handling millions and millions of dollars of merchandise that could easily go missing. But hey, now,
Yeah, maybe, if you...
I'm not done.
Oh,
I'm not done.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, and believe you me, a lot of shit wound up in people's pockets.
Yes.
A lot.
You think?
a lot of people pocketed stuff.
Of course they did.
Which is, as far as I'm personally concerned, completely fucking justified.
Yes!
Screw you, Goodwill. Screw you.
Why would you not take a watch every so often that Goodwill got for free?
Uh-huh.
If Goodwill is only paying you $12 an hour, which in New England is
not
poverty wages.
Yes!
That might as well be slavery.
Uh-huh. Oh, by the way. So, you know what else they did? They were working with the U.S. Postal Service for many, many years.
Of course they were.
And then they decided to move over to FedEx.
Right.
Because making sure that you use primary... let's see. We used some post office boxes after the switch over to the FedEx, but the vast majority of it was priority mail shipping for the first part of when I worked there. Then the second year, they moved over to brown boxes and this, and it's going to save us money. It's going to save us money on packing material. Oh, so...
How can it save you money if the Postal Service boxes are free?
Exactly.
Free! Not cheap. Free!
I know. And they're like, it costs us money for this, and it costs us money for that. I'm like, you guys are so full of fucking shit. We're saving money now. Okay, where's my raise? We need you to do speed and quality. We need you to be fast and quality. We need you to have the kind of quality that would provide safe shipping for multiple $1,000 artifacts in a single package. So, I have personally shipped out somewhere in the range of at least $3 million worth of material, and my position has shipped out at least $10 million worth.
Your position, so your job or your department?
My job.
Wow.
Shipped out somewhere in the range of, in the course of 3 years, my position alone, the shipper's position, generally handled, no, not generally, was the one responsible for making sure the customer received their product. And you know how much money that went through the shipping bay? All of it. So where the fuck was my raise? When I was making sure that they were making that $3 million, that $2 million, that $3 million. $10 million in 2 years? Making sure $10 million worth of product? I should have been making $100 an hour. They would have had
deserved $100 an hour.
And
or more.
And I was their best shipper they had. You know how many people they had to replace me when I left?
Tell me.
3.
It's almost like instead of paying you $12 an hour, they should have said, wow, so we would have to pay at least $36 an hour to replace you. So why don't we just pay this person who's doing a fantastic job, why don't we just pay him $30 an hour?
And they would eternally bitch and moan that I was putting the wrong books on the wrong... I also worked in the book department. I would occasionally put the wrong book on the wrong shelf. Do you want to know how they had these shelves labeled?
Tell me.
1 through 60.
Okay.
A, 1 through 60. B, 1 through 60. C, 1 through 60. D, 1 through 60. I'm not done.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And they went down the entire alphabet.
Okay.
1 through 60 on every single shelf. Not 1 through 1,000.
Yep.
Not 1 through 10,000.
Yep.
1 through 60. Now, I am not a statistician. I am a mere little Labrador. But if you're looking at shelf A, bay, bay 2, and shelf B, bay 2,
right,
What is the difference between those two?
Good question.
The difference is one fucking letter.
Oh, by the way, you are dyslexic, so that would be difficult for you to do.
They nearly fired me over that. I nearly took their ass to court over that dumb shit.
And you would have been well justified in doing so, because if they fired you for getting a letter backwards because you are dyslexic, that would be incredibly illegal.
Uh-huh.
Incredibly illegal.
Oh, and, my favorite manager of all time, named Michelle.
Shit shell, right?
Shit shell. I'm calling you out there, shit shell. So if you hear this podcast in the future, fuck you. Go to hell. Oh, by the way, your boyfriend was cheating on you with one of the other managers. Fuck you.
Wow.
You don't deserve being a manager. You don't deserve much of anything in this world. Screw you, Michelle. Screw you.
How much was shit shell being paid per hour? Do you know?
No, I don't, but we can look it up because everyone's pay for a nonprofit is public information.
My favorite, public domain information.
Now.
Hey, by the way, just a quick aside. Just a quick aside. Go ahead and hold the phone for me.
Yep.
Because this is going to be quick.
Yes.
If it is important for nonprofits to disclose wages to avoid fraud,
Yes.
then why the fuck do we not do that for everyone? To avoid fraud.
I have a very good retort to that.
Tell me.
Because they want the public image that a nonprofit is somehow more prestigious. They want the public image of a nonprofit doing the Lord's work. So accountability among the paid staff needs to be by the Lord himself declares that a nonprofit must disclose the wages. Other than that, if you work for a corporation, you're a greedy, evil fucking son of a bitch that has, no empathy in this world. Fuck you, Bezos. We know what your net worth is. Fuck you.
See, here, I have a slightly different answer. I don't disagree with you, but I have a slightly different answer. Corporations don't want salary figures to be public because they use that secrecy to break the law. Darling, people have been fighting for over 100 years for pay equality between men and women.
Yes.
Over 100 years. Is it legal to pay someone a different wage for the same job? In most states, it is technically legal. But under constitutional law, it is illegal.
Yes.
So we don't even... One second. We don't even have to change the law to fix this problem. All we have to do is enforce the Constitution.
Agreed.
So, continue.
So, when I worked at Goodwill, laughable, absolutely laughable environment that I used to work in. With the noble goal of making it easier and running halfway houses, running,
Hold on 1 second. So you're describing some of the other things that Goodwill does, correct?
Yes, I am going to...
So tell us what Goodwill does other than run the stores, because I know a lot about nonprofits, and I do not know that Goodwill did anything other than just run the stores.
Oh!
So you tell us.
Oh, yes. Let me lay it down of what else Goodwill does. They also run halfway houses. They also run...
1 second. A halfway house is for people who've just got out of prison, correct?
Yep.
Okay, just making
They run halfway houses. Yep. Now, my specific branch didn't run halfway houses. They ran very specifically, they ran long-term care facilities for individuals in need.
Okay.
And they employed many of them.
Right. So long-term care facilities for what type of person?
The severely mentally handicapped, the severely physically handicapped.
Interesting. So, darling, do you know who pays for that?
The U.S. fucking government.
So, why is Goodwill a corporation that makes... a non-profit.
A non-profit.
An untouchable non-profit that only does good. Why is Goodwill getting paid to do that by the government instead of just paying it out of their $6 billion pockets?
Because they have to make sure their finances are in check. Oh, and they were also handing out awards.
To who?
People making that... They were handing out awards to some of their high-ranking... It was the most sickening thing I had ever seen. One of the most disgraceful things I have ever seen. Oh, by the way, Kashi, the vice president of the e-commerce department, fuck you particularly.
Okay. Why does Kashi need to go fuck himself?
Because, fuck you, Kashi, and here's why. First of all, you wanted to shut down a department that was making you millions of dollars. Screw you. You kept raises out of our hands. Fuck you in particular.
Okay.
Fuck you. When I left Goodwill, I knocked on his door and I cussed his fucking ass out.
Sounds like he deserved it.
Fuck you, Kashi. Fuck you. Oh, and he's black, so unfortunately, it'd be racist to call him out on his bullshit.
Oh, yes, because it's racist. It's racist for a manager to keep you from getting a raise.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
For 2 years, you decided to keep everyone's pay super low so you could make $300,000 a year. Fuck you. You're replaceable. My job, very difficult to replace.
So, I have a question. Are the employees of Goodwill unionized?
No.
Why not?
Because the vast majority of them, A, don't know how to get the unionizing process started. Okay. They're terrified of losing their jobs because...
Of course.
This is all...
Hold on one second.
Many of them...
Many people who work for Goodwill work in places that are very poor.
Uh-huh.
So New England, not so much. I mean, New England, maybe many of the people who work for Goodwill were poor, but New England is a relatively rich part of the country. It is one of the, if not the wealthiest part of the country.
Agreed.
Now, people who work for Goodwill in Mississippi, a $12 an hour job might be the best job in their town that they qualify for.
A $12 an hour job in a tourist town is nothing.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely nothing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're gonna raise the minimum wage to $14 an hour. It's gonna be so bad for the economy. No, it's going to be bad for the millionaires and billionaires.
Correct.
Which, there aren't that many billionaires in Maine anyway, so why do they care? There's a handful of billionaires. Most people who live in Maine are usually upper middle class, and there's a lot of millionaires there. Stephen King. You earned your money, and you live very quietly. You're a bit of an asshole to people, but you know what?
Well, and it is not a crime to be an asshole.
No!
For Stephen King, this is a good example of someone who is rich, but not super rich.
Yeah,
Stephen King created books that people love.
Yes!
And for that excellent service to the community of the world. And when I say the community, I don't mean the main community. I mean the community of the world. For that excellent service, he got a lot of money in the capitalist system. And that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with having money and producing a product. If you're a bit of an asshole towards people, you're like
If you're a bit of
if
an
you're
asshole
like
towards people, get educated.
again. When I met him, he was reasonably polite. Again, we were
Hold on 1 second. So you were working in his house to install an elevator, right?
to maintenance his elevator.
To maintenance his elevator at his mansion. Got it. Okay.
It's not even a mansion, believe it or not.
Okay.
His house is maybe 3,000 square foot.
Okay.
His house is a old New England style farmhouse.
Okay.
It's not some huge, opulent, obscene thing. It's actually really modest. It is
Very
a
modest for a person who has millions of dollars.
It is a
Got it.
modest place, which I have no problem with,
Uh-huh.
because he has the idea of old money. He doesn't have flashy shit.
If you have flashy shit, it is much easier to steal.
It is.
Darling, did you know that there are quite a few people in the crypto space?
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, crypto in general, not just Bitcoin. Did you know that there are quite a few people who like to show off their money?
When in reality,
And did you know that these people are the targets for criminals?
usually, yes. Because if you don't show people you have money, but you have... here's how you do it, guys. If you ever wind up having any sort of money in this world, don't buy that Lambo.
No.
Buy something middle class. Be the middle class.
Yes. There, okay, hold on 1 second. So the research is very clear. The research is very clear. And let me point this out, because this is important for anyone to know. Whether they are rich, poor, rich, mega poor, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is important for everyone to know. The research is very clear. Depending on the specific study, the numbers are somewhere around $50,000 to $100,000 a year. The average of the different studies is, I think, somewhere around $70,000, is the comfortable living wage.
Yes.
The comfortable living wage. So what do I mean by that? That is the amount of money that an average family, which is mom, dad, and 2 kids,
Yep.
$70,000 is the amount of money that they need to live a comfortable middle-class life.
Yes.
Now again, I'm not saying that, this is only for straight people, because I'm not straight. Like, you could be a family of 2 moms, you could be a family of 2 dads, you could be a family of grandma and grandpa taking care of 2 kids, whatever. The point is that a group of 4 people, 2 of them children, 2 of them adults, is roughly average for American families.
Yes.
And again, 4 people, it doesn't even have to be children. It could be 4 roommates. It could be 4 people living in a college dorm. I'm just saying that a family unit, quote unquote, a group of people living in a house together, 4 people is roughly average.
Yep.
And according to most studies that have been done, around $70,000 is how much you need to live comfortably. So, when I say comfortably, what I mean is, you're not worried about food, you're not worried about your house, you're not worried about your car.
Precisely.
You have enough money to solve problems as they come up. Now, you're not going to be able to go and take a vacation to Bermuda every year, but if you want to, maybe every couple of years you can take a vacation at Disney World. If you want to, you can drive to Branson, Missouri and have a nice time. A vacation in Branson is not very expensive. You might pay around, say, $5,000 for a vacation in Branson for an entire family. Now, if you make $70,000 a year and you're supporting, again, that could be each parent making $35,000, or that could be one parent making $70,000. It doesn't matter. The point is that you can live comfortably on that income, is the point.
Yep.
And you can ask anyone you know, and they will tell you that this is, with inflation where it is right now, in 2022, that's roughly accurate. Now again, it depends on where you live as well. If you live in rural Alabama, it might be $40,000 that you need to live in this same economic bracket. If you live in Manhattan, it's about $250,000. But again, you're talking about, again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm repeating myself because this is a concept that not a lot of people have thought about. They probably understand it intuitively, I would assume. Like, this is something that I'm sure you already know.
Mm-hmm.
That about $70,000 for a family is what you need to live comfortably. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're putting aside money for retirement every month, and anytime your car breaks down, you can fix it. That's the kind of comfortable that I'm talking about.
Yes.
And the research is crystal clear that until you reach roughly this economic bracket, every $10,000 that your income goes up, let's say, it goes up from $50,000 to $60,000, your amount of life satisfaction goes up.
Well, take me, for example.
Sure.
I went from $12 an hour up to about $18 an hour by switching states, switching jobs.
Ironically enough, moving to a poorer state, but getting a better job.
Exactly. And I would still be at that job, working my way up the chain. Well, but
if they even had the ability to notice your worth, but sorry, continue.
I know. Working up the chain, putting things in place, because I am very much ADHD.
Sure.
But I also take measured steps when it comes to big decisions.
Sure.
I don't take a big decision on all at once.
Sure.
Or I try not to. Now, to put this in a more intuitive way,
sure.
Take a enormous steak that is...
An enormous steak like we had at Elmo's Steakhouse.
Even bigger than that.
Even bigger, okay.
Think a 7-course meal.
Like a platter-sized steak.
A platter-sized steak.
You've cut off a whole hock from the cow. All right, got it. You got a great big platter, like a. How about a turkey? Everybody knows what a turkey looks like.
Yes.
Like a whole, 15-pound turkey.
Now, what I like to do, and have always tried to do, and this has served me very well, despite how ADHD I am,
Sure.
is to not look at the entire steak as its entirety.
Sure.
Take it piece by piece.
Yeah.
Take pieces of it that I can manage,
Sure.
so I don't choke on the damn thing.
Absolutely.
And keep the rest in the freezer, and then work on it in different formats.
Sure. Well, and I really like this analogy, if I may expound on it a little bit. I really like this analogy because let's take the example of a Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
Because a steak is a little bit more of a luxury item. But most families, unless they are desperately poor, most families can make a delicious Thanksgiving meal. And now, you may not be able to buy a giant turkey, but you can buy a couple of turkey breasts or a couple of turkey legs. You may not be able to buy, a really expensive, truffle salad or whatever. I don't even know what you make with truffles, but you may not be able to afford caviar for Thanksgiving.
May I interrupt you 1 second?
Of course.
A truffle is a form of mushroom.
No, I know that. I don't know what you make with truffles because I've never done it.
Oh. Now here's a really simple recipe with truffles that anyone can do.
Okay.
You take them, you cut them up, and then you add them to a Swiss sandwich with truffles.
That sounds really good.
It is barbecue, mushrooms, Swiss cheese, and some sort of hamburger. There you go. There's a simple recipe for a delicacy that would make 5-star chefs cringe, but fuck 5-star chefs. Most of the time, you guys are just pretentious assholes that make way too much money with stupid ingredients. I'm not done. Sorry. With tiny portions, and you have people pay exorbitant prices because you can cook tiny food at stupid quality.
Yes. So, I am glad that you're bringing this up, because this is the type of thing that we will talk about frequently on the podcast. Of, why would you go to a place that serves $300 a plate meals and get so little food that you don't even feel full? That's kind of dumb. But let's reel it back a little bit, because I want to finish my analogy, okay?
Yes.
So the average family in America can make a Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
I don't even know how many turkeys are sold for Thanksgiving, but it's probably something like 100 million or 200 million. It's a lot of turkeys. So, this is not an unattainable luxury for the average person.
Not yet.
Well, we will do our best as political candidates to avoid it becoming an unattainable luxury. Maybe we'll pardon all the turkeys and just give them away. Who knows? But
300 million turkeys?
I'm gonna pardon every turkey in America!
We're gonna end the wholesale slaughter of turkeys.
Well, no. I'm saying we kill more turkeys. Not because turkeys deserve to die, but because people need food.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I am not against humane meat production. I am against inhumane meat production. But anyway, that's for a different podcast. So let me finish my analogy, please.
Okay.
So, a delicious, medium-budget Thanksgiving meal is something that you could easily make for a family of 4 on a $70,000 a year salary.
Yep.
That would not be difficult to do. That would not be even challenging to do. That would be something that would be an easily obtainable meal. Okay? Now, I like your analogy of you take it in bite-sized portions. Okay?
That's life.
That's what all the people say. So,
thank you, Frank Sinatra.
You're welcome, son. So what I'm trying to say is, a Thanksgiving meal is a good, intuitive analogy for life satisfaction. So, let's say that you were trying to support a family of 4 on a $20,000 a year salary. You probably cannot afford to buy a Thanksgiving turkey.
No! You can believe you me, I have tried to do it on a $20,000 a year salary. The amount of shenanigans and wheeling and dealing that I had to do to survive was pretty incredible.
Right. And so again, we're going. Have you heard of the Big Mac index? It's an index of inflation.
Yes, set by McDonald's.
Well, and the reason why the Big Mac index exists, quote unquote, this is not something that McDonald's does intentionally.
No.
But is a measure of how far a dollar goes in different countries.
Yes.
A burger is more expensive in the Netherlands than it is in the United States, because the Netherlands has a lot of laws around employee benefits.
Yes.
In America, there is no federal guideline There is no federal law about maternity leave.
Oh, by the way, men, you can take maternity leave as well.
You can, and you should. It's called paternity leave. Or parental leave is what it's typically called, because, maternity leave is a very archaic term. But anyway, men oftentimes do not take their parental leave privilege that is generally, at least in most, less backward states, in most states, it is the equal for both men and women to be able to take, say, 3 months or 6 months of parental leave. But anyway, what I'm saying is that the same way that the Big Mac index is an index of inflation, I think that we should have the Thanksgiving turkey index of life satisfaction.
Interesting.
This is... I haven't even come up with this before. I'm coming up with this as we're saying it on the podcast. But, generally speaking, based on the family that I have, or used to have, but that's a whole different story. Based on my family, based on people that I know, based on my friends, if you can afford, once a year, to make a nice Thanksgiving meal, generally speaking, your life is going pretty well.
I see. I'm gonna hit... that's not a bad way of looking at the world.
And again, these types of things like the Big Mac Index, it's not a perfect system. You're not like, yes, this is the one and only rule that we will use to measure. But can your family afford to make Thanksgiving dinner is a pretty simple measure.
In 800 feet, keep right at the fork.
This is the kind of measure that anyone can understand. So,
keep right at the fork.
Here's what I'm thinking. The statistics say that around $70,000 a year for a family is living comfortably, living without a lot of financial stress. And an intuitive person like yourself, because for me, saying $70,000 for a family, I got it. I understand. For a person who's more intuitive like yourself, it probably makes more sense to you emotionally to say, oh, well, can you afford a Thanksgiving meal? Right?
I agree.
So, to finish my analogy, before we get some gas here...
Turn right. In 1,000 feet.
The
Turn left.
The point of this analogy is, if you have more money, you don't have more turkey.
No, I'll be back.
Okay.